Hi everyone, back here again with a quick review on the analog side of my system, which I've updated recently. I was very lucky to stumble across a chap who stays fairly local to me with this gorgeous Systemdek 2x2 turntable, or 2x2, I'm not sure how you describe that. He was selling it for a good price. I couldn't say no. He was good enough to bring it through here, set it up for me in my system with the Dynavector external, the Dynavector phono stage there, the P75 Mark II, the MCRU external power supplies. Hopefully I can get a nice view of the Dynavector 10x5 high output moving coil cartridge there. He was good enough to bring it to me on Friday, told me to keep it for the weekend, let me know what I thought and tell me if I want to keep it or not, and yeah, I couldn't say no. It sounds incredible. So these things were built in the mid-1990s. There are suspended sub-chassis, so hopefully you can see that moving about there. If I press on there, that's how the thing deals with vibrations. It's got this beautiful, I think it's cherry plinth here. The first things I noticed with this was more detail. I was hearing much more from my deck than I was from the previous project one that I had, but that was a Project Essential 2 turntable. These are, to use the cliche, night and day difference. This is much further up the food chain. So yeah, much more detail. The needle is retrieving much more from the grooves than I was hearing previously. Instrument separation, much more of that than before. Even within the instrument, in the drum kit, I'm able to pick out toms and the kick drum and the snare drum, and often with drums all I'm hearing is a drum kit being hit, but not with this. That's not the case anymore. To give a specific example, I was listening to Achtung Baby, the U2 album, and for the first time I was hearing bits of percussion from Larry Mullen Jr. that I hadn't heard before. There was bits of acoustic rhythm guitar from the Edge that I literally hadn't heard at all before, that was hearing through my speakers. It just sounds incredible. The bass is tighter and more punchy. The first thing we did was we plugged this in without the Dynavector phono stage. We plugged it in with my shit audio Mani phono stage, and I got all the separation, I got all the detail, I got the tighter bass and everything with that, and I left it at that for a day, for a good solid 24 to 36 hours, and it sounded great. And then we switched the phono stage over. I said we, did it myself, and it was instantly, the whole thing became more lively, more present, and sounded even better. I was almost expecting it to sound more refined than the shit audio phono stage did, but it doesn't. It was a decent phono stage, the shit one, but this one just has more presence. It's more dynamic, more lively, as I said. Very simple turntable to use. One single switch on it for on and off, so we flick that. We give it a little bit of assistance to break the inertia. There's a arm guard there. Lift this over carefully, gently, slowly. Let the needle come down, and hopefully in a few seconds we shall hear a bit of Black Sabbath coming through the speakers. I've still got the same name, Nate 5i amplifier from previous videos. I changed the speakers a few months ago to these larger 4-standing ones. There's Aussie coughing now. I'll see how long I can play some music for before the YouTube copyright police get on to me. I imagine that's probably about as much as I will be allowed. So we shall rescue this from here, gently put her back, switch her off. Because it's a belt drive, it takes a bit of time for the whole thing to slow down. That's it off though. So yeah, huge improvement from my old deck. I think as far as the analog side of things go, I am done now. I will not buy another turntable. I may, in time, buy a newer version of that phono stage. I think they're on to Mark V now. That's the Mark II, so maybe if I get trading deals and whatnot, I'll change that in years to come, as I say, but not soon. I upgraded the cable that goes from the phono stage into the amp to this one here. That's a Cord Clearway RCA, and that replaced an old sort of unbranded 5-pin DIN to RCA cable that was in there before, and that made things clearer and yeah, sharper, more focused. So yeah, there's sort of additions that I could make or upgrades I could make to this turntable, but I will not be changing it. This is me finished on the analog side really now. Maybe we'll get a better arm in turn, although this arm's fine. There's a good counterweight to the arm that you can get. You can upgrade the arm board, you can upgrade the feet. So those are things that I will do in time, but I will not be replacing this glorious, beautiful, made in Scotland turntable. It will be with me until it goes to my son. Thank you for watching. Any questions or comments, please put them below. Thank you. Goodbye.